12.
Oh, I'm on the one on the left.
I don't know. Well, good morning, everybody, from the Onion Creek Soccer Complex in Austin, Texas. It's the 2024 USAFL National Championships presented by Tasmanian. It is Championship Sunday. Winners will be crowned across the 7 divisions, and our first game of the day, bright and early here at 8 a.m. on Cooper's Field, is a Division 4 match between the Fort Lauderdale Fighting Squids and the Oklahoma Buffaloes, and we will tell you in just a moment the implications of this match. The Buffaloes come in with a record of 2-0. If they win, they are on to the Division 4 Grand Final. The Squids are 1-1. They need a victory, and they also need some help from the percent sign. They'll need to win by a pretty good margin. Brian Barish alongside Pat Machado, who we'll introduce in just a moment. As we are underway, the Fort Lauderdale Fighting Squids are in the blue jumpers with the ink on the back because they are Squids, while the Oklahoma Buffaloes are going from right to left on the in the gray jumpers with the red yoke heading towards the Tournament Central end. Good morning, Pat Machado.
Good morning, Brian. It's been a long time getting here. It's another packed weekend for me, as per usual, as we have a throw in deep inside forward 50. Tap down by Oklahoma. Not ball in dispute on the ground. Cleared away, but marked on the edge of 50. This should result in a shot on goal for number 5 of Oklahoma. Kick is on the way. It'll die just short of the line. Tapped down by Fort Lauderdale. Good handball chain to escape in defense for the Fighting Squids.
Out in the middle of the ground now, long handball across, going in front. They're going to try and get it out in a hurry. Big tackle put in. He lost the football, and then it's a little toe poke on. Again, trying to get it out are the Squids. As that one bounces in front, it'll roll, it'll skip, it'll hop, it'll come all the way back. Looking for a handball to go forward. Toe pokes it on, and then going back to get it, and then sending this one forward to the inside 50. Good mark coming across, and that will end the threat for now. No score here in the opening couple of minutes of this game. We are playing two 20-minute halves, beg your pardon. And this is Tom Hecker in his back right pocket. Sends this one down the line. Goes up high in the air as it goes through the shadows and the sunshine as the ball goes through over into the pocket. 2-on-1 for the Squids, but the boundary line finds it, and it's out of play. Still no score after about 90 seconds of football.
So throw in near side forward pocket for the Fort Lauderdale Fighting Squids. Their first offensive flurry of this young match. Kicked inside 50. Oklahoma, the only players there. Jack McCall will clear the line, near side boundary line. Christopher Brennan dropped the mark. Colarusso once again inside 50 for the Squids. Couldn't take it cleanly, dropped it on the ground, so play on. Back out to neutral territory. Daniel Seif was wrapped up in a tackle, and Oklahoma will start on another attack. Christopher Kaywood chasing the ball. Good hustle from the Fighting Squids to get back on that odd man situation. Still, it's loose just inside forward 50, and it'll be wrapped up just in front of the goal. Still no score.
Fort Lauderdale won a Division III national, actually went to the Division III Grand Final, actually here in 2011, as they were alongside the team in Florida at the time, the Florida Redbacks. They combined for a Florida United side. Meanwhile, Oklahoma Division IV champions in 2017, and then went on, of course. They were originally the Tulsa Buffaloes, and then they merged with the Oklahoma City Flyers. They're considered to be one club. The Tulsa Tulsa Buffaloes and the Oklahoma Buffaloes. Originally, they were the Oklahoma Football Club, but said we're going to be the Buffs once again. As this one is sent inside the 50-meter arc, one-on-one contest, actually a pack forming, and then cleared out the back as that was some sort of weird whirly-bird kick. Going to get soccered off the ground out to the near side. All sorts of spaces now. We could have T over here, Pat and I, and that one is picked up nicely there by Stephen Raspold. Him and brother Andrew playing for this Oklahoma side. Big tackle thrown in there by the number 5, who we do not have here. We beg your indulgence. Wouldn't be Nationals without a couple of holes in the team sheet, as that one is sent on the way. The first scoring shot of the game is through for a behind, and it goes the way of the Oklahoma Buffaloes. On the Watch AFL scoreboard, it's Oklahoma 1, Fort Lauderdale 0. First game of Championship Sunday here on Cooper's Field in Division 4.
So the tackle leads to a minor score for Oklahoma. Ball kicked out to a pack. Off hands. Oklahoma comes away with it once again. Sent to the goal square and able to keep it in. It was almost over the line for a behind. But Oklahoma will take this result. And that is goal number 1. Oklahoma, with the first major of the game, extends the leads out to 7 points.
And the Buffaloes yesterday, Pat, opened with a 52-9 victory over the Des Moines Roosters and then beat the Portland Steelheads 46-17. The Squids, meanwhile, fell to Portland 45-6 in their opener, only to come back and beat the Roosters 36-14. The Steelheads are playing Des Moines, and if the Steelheads manage to win and do so by enough to account for the percentage gap, they also need to get some help here from the Squids. They would need to beat Oklahoma. But in the first, I would say, 6 minutes or so of this match, the Squids, or the Buffaloes, are the ones who are putting the pressure on. The Squids haven't had much of an opportunity, and we will tell you so far that there isn't much wind to speak of, whereas yesterday there was a steady, I would say, 10-mile-an-hour breeze blowing towards the Onion Creek side, which is to our right. Well, there's a little bit of a wiggle in the flags right now, but it is not really much to account for. I'll tell you one thing, when it gets to be 95 degrees a little bit later on, we'll all be wishing for that 15-mile-per-hour gusts. That really was the one thing that was kind of keeping everything in check. Ball high in the air once again as it goes to ground. Hecker went after the football for Fort Lauderdale. And now it's going to be a little shovel pass where he finds the 24. Again, no number there. This one is sent in. Ball will go in, coming all the way back. I believe that's Tassif who will come out to the near side and find the number 91 who has the football. Now he dropped it. I'm going to take a look. Continues to go down into the middle of the ground where it's picked off nicely, and jumping up to taking that one is Simon Kornberg, and Kornberg will release through the middle of the ground. 7-0 Oklahoma. First half here from Coopersfield.
Looks near side boundary. Coughs it up to Stephen Rasbold. Handball's out wide. Paul Matthews, the Australian playing for Oklahoma, touches the ball to the ground. It's a bit dewy here this morning. Little chip kick finds Jacob Skrabinich. Thank you, sir. Long kick inside 50. Intercept mark taken by the Fighting Squids.
Should be mentioned, Pat, that there's a couple there. Austin actually had enough really for 2.5 teams. And so Oklahoma has 3 players on their roster. Fort Lauderdale has 2. They're, because of the way the way that the numbers break down, it didn't make sense to have them all on one team, so they were broken up over multiple teams. So that's what we have here on the roster.
So Raswell will put it back into play. Spots a man close to 50. Crumb down by Skrabinich. Handball's out wide. Caleb West with the delivery inside 50. Forward pocket far side. Takes a bounce and goes through for a minor score. Second behind for the Oklahoma Football Club. They're out to 1-2-8. Fort Lauderdale yet to score on the Watch AFL scoreboard midway through this opening half.
And our thanks to Watch AFL, one of the many sponsors who are bringing you this tournament, as we mentioned many times. Tasmanian, who is with us for another couple of years. Our thanks to them. Cooper's Beer, who was with us for the 25th consecutive year at this USAFL Nationals, and there are so many others as well that are really integral. CyberSource IQ is here as well. Odin Mortgage, and the ball is out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in on that outer side. Be interesting to see how the Squids adjust. They're playing well. They just haven't been able to penetrate the Oklahoma forward 50 as of yet. Ball comes spinning back into play. One-on-one contest. That one ricocheted off of a shin bone. No, we're not in North Melbourne, as that one will come all the way back. Looking for the handball. That is going to be kicked up in the air. I'm kind of confused. It looks like it's a 0 and a backwards 9. That's one of the players over there, and that one has gone out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in once again directly across from us. Ball comes spinning back in the play. Gets knocked out. Big tackle put on there quickly. And that was a Ray Warren special. Crunching tackle. As the ball is now in dispute. And now it's going to be centered into the middle of the ground. Nobody out there. And then that one will be sent in now in towards 50. It'll roll. It'll skip. Over to get it now. Going to get picked that one up. Looking for a man and finding one in Brent Harrington. Harrington going in short now over the top of a defender. And then going to pick that one up. It's a little bit of a fire drill situation. Hecker was knocked sideways. Harrington in there as well. I think that's going to be pushing the back. And that is the call. Umpire Kevin Murray from north of the border where the Rapids run fierce makes the call as this one comes back down into the middle of the ground. Going to be soccered off the ground, or at least a big swing and a miss there by the 24. Ball comes out in the middle of the ground. Now here come the Squids with their first sortie into the forward half. As the ball gets everybody pushing and missing and swinging, all of that other stuff. And then that one is kicked over into the pocket. It will go. It'll be picked up. Big tap. And then soccered off the ground once again. And let's see what the call is here, whether it gone out of bounds or whether it was kicking in danger. And in fact, it is. And so it will be a free kick coming out for the Buffs, who lead 8-0 on the Watch AFL scoreboard here as the sun slowly rises to our right. We're waiting for the ball to come out in the right back pocket. And in fact, it was given to the number 84 for Fort Lauderdale. This will have their first opportunity. Kick is up on the way. Looks good, but it is drifting left, and it is through for the minor score. But the Squids have entered the chat. On the Watch AFL scoreboard, they have one behind. They trail by 7 points. Oklahoma, 1-2-8.
So Oklahoma to put the ball back into play. Looks to the far wing. Spoiled out the back by a fighting Squid. That'll find the boundary line for a throw-in.
The Squids, by the way, Pat, founded in 2005, and that's one of the things I point out to Australians when I say, hey, you can have other names, especially also with the Buffaloes. You can have other names other than the 18 that exist in the AFL.
Ball flung back into play. Fort Lauderdale get the clearance, but it spills over to Oklahoma, soccered off the ground. Picked up by number 91 of the Squids. Goes out wide. Christopher Brennan now. Has a crack towards goal. It's straight. It's far.
And we're waiting the signal. I think I'm curious as to. I think there was a call because I think we heard a whistle, and this one's going to come back.
It will be coming back. I could not see what the call was. I believe they blew it dead and did not let him take the advantage because it's going back to Fort Lauderdale, who had that shot on goal.
Yep.
So unfortunate for Fort Lauderdale there as we resume play. Gets a man on a lead, well spoiled from behind by Oklahoma. They pick up the ball. Well, try to anyway. It's very slippery here in this warm Texas morning. Toe poke kick. Skies one up. And that will miss everything. Out on the full, Oklahoma gets the ball.
You know, you mentioned the conditions, Pat. This is going to be very different from what the conditions are going to be in just a couple of hours' time. There is still a fair bit of dew on the field. These two teams are going to do the job of essentially mopping it up. The temperature right now is also only 69 degrees. And as we take a look, it's going to rise steadily about 4 degrees every hour until we get to, I would say, about 2 o'clock. So the conditions that these two teams are playing in are going to be different. Of course, for one or possibly both of these teams, although I would say Oklahoma is in a very good position, this will be their last game of the weekend and of the season. So I think if you are in the position where you have to get the one game out of there early, it is good to get this game, and then you can go hang out and start day drinking as the ball goes in. Although we should say, especially for those here at the ground, that the Cooper's Beer Tent does not open until about till 11 o'clock.
That would be the Texas law on a Sunday.
Absolutely, as there's a handball that goes down, coming all the way back. It's a one-on-one contest. Big swing, and just getting enough to steer that one through was Dustin Hayes. 9th point registered on the scoreboard for the Watch AFL scoreboard for Oklahoma. They go to 139, 1 point and only 1 point for Fort Lauderdale.
So getting into the late stages of this opening half here from Austin, Texas. Played on out of the square, spots a man far down the near side. Oklahoma's able to get a hand on that ball. Ball in dispute, edge of the center square. Houston handballed it away. Now the kick inside 50. Off both players, picked up by Christopher Kaywood. And it's through for another minor score. So Oklahoma a little inaccurate in front of goal, but they've been getting a majority of the offense here in this opening half. They're up to 1-4-10. Fort Lauderdale one behind, 9-point lead on the Watch AFL scoreboard.
And all they have to do, Pat, is just score more than the other team. It sounds kind of pedantic, but as long as they can keep that scoreboard pressure on, they're in pretty good shape. Again, with a reminder, if the Buffaloes win, they are on to the Division IV Grand Final, which you can see over on Field 2, beginning at 1 p.m. Central Time. As the ball gets marked in front, good look to find Chris Kaywood. Kaywood will go back, and he will take his time. We'll say that by the time he kicks the ball, he'll be about 35 meters out. Strides forward. Kick is on the way. Looks pretty good. Except, it just died in front and takes the last exit, except we have a free kick paid in front. And this one, I believe, is going to be from dead in front for the Buffaloes. In fact, it is. It will be given to Dustin Hayes. There was an infraction in the goal square, and Hayes will have a chance to add the second goal of the day. And it will come from point-blank range. 2 steps and bang. Right over the goal umpire's hat. Bit of a costly mistake there for Fort Lauderdale, and Oklahoma on the Watch AFL scoreboard extends their lead. They go to 2-4-16. The lead is 15 points, 1 point for the Squids.
Yeah, so Fort Lauderdale unable to execute a kick-in play and coughed it up to Oklahoma. Almost resulted in a minor score, but the infraction in front of goal takes them out to a 15-point lead, and that's costly.
And you don't want to give the Buffaloes any extra opportunities, especially with a grand final spot on the line.
Punched forward by Sheldon Houston. Picking it up is Caleb West. Umpire spots something, holding the ball as the call of Fort Lauderdale will get the free. See if they can spring something off of that. Kick to a pack off the hands of a couple of Oklahoma players. Now kick into space. Little ping pong action inside 50. Fort Lauderdale spins, sells some candy, takes a shot for goal. And it is
off to the side.
Off to the side. Dramatics from the goal umpire. I thought we were getting 2 finger pistols there. Instead, it's a minor score. They're out to 2 behinds. 14-point lead for Oklahoma. They're 2-4-16.
Here on USAFL.com, powered by Gridiron Productions. Our thanks to Kevin, Jerry, and everybody else bringing you these pictures, not only here but on field too, with Bill Robert, and also we've got Dan Sarbacker over there with him. SARS will be on our field a little bit later on. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, this one is kicked in, going in short. Nice mark over the top taken by Hayes. Hayes is 50 meters out, maybe 2 kicks from goal. Sending this one in, drops over the top. And that, I believe, is halftime at the football. So at the end of 20 minutes, Oklahoma is the best of the 2 teams here, just in being able to move it and get the scoring opportunities. After 20 minutes of play, it's the Oklahoma Buffaloes 2-4-16, the Fort Lauderdale Fighting Squids 2 behinds. Really kind of it's an interesting dynamic here, Pat Machado, because, again, it's an 8 a.m. game. These 8 a.m. starts are absolutely brutal for players and commentators alike, but it seems like they are still, I'm not going to say they're sleepwalking through, because we are seeing some good passages of play. Tom Hecker is really putting the pressure on defensively for Fort Lauderdale. Oklahoma is doing well in the forward line, but you can definitely tell this is an 8 a.m. game on a Sunday morning at Nationals.
That and Fort Lauderdale was a little unlucky with not getting paid advantage in front of goal there. Could be less than the margin that it is now. But Oklahoma, again, with a majority of the passages of play, the sheer number of that is going to catch up with them. Fort Lauderdale needs to capitalize on the opportunities that they get, because they're getting them.
And they are, and also giving up that 50-meter essentially that free kick right in front of the goal when they went for a missed kick. That will play on them as well. We're going to step aside and come right back. Once again, repeating the scores: Oklahoma 16, Fort Lauderdale 2. You're watching the 2024 USAFL National Championships from Austin, Texas. Thanks to Tasmanian, and thanks to you, and thanks to Gridiron Productions here on USAFL.com.
The USAFL 2024 Nationals is brought to you by Tasmanian, the quiet pursuit of the extraordinary. Cooper's, Australian made and owned. Cooper's Beer. Visit Austin, live music capital of the world. Aussie Sports USA, the official apparel provider of the USAFL. Qantas Airlines, the spirit of Australia. The Australian Consulate General, Houston. Three Cuts Gin. Odin Mortgage and Tax. CyberSolve IQ, the inaugural cybersecurity partner of the USAFL. And by USAFL Foundation. Play on.
And back here at the Onion Creek Soccer Complex in Austin, Texas, 2024 USAFL National Championships brought to you by Tasmanian. Second half of this one about to get underway between the Fort Lauderdale Fighting Squids and the Oklahoma Buffaloes. It's the Buffs up 16-2 with 20 minutes to go, and they are 20 minutes away from a grand final. Brian Barish alongside Pat Machado. The Buffaloes Division III runners-up a season ago, losing to Philadelphia. They also lost to a combined Philadelphia and Arizona team back in 2021. So they're trying to make it through to the D4 Grand Final. If they do, they'll be on the hunt for their first D4 Grand Final, as we've said, in 7 seasons. And that actually was the first weekend where they officially had combined. They were 2 teams initially, the Tulsa Buffaloes and Oklahoma City Flyers. Umpire holds the spirit of this great game aloft. Second half action about to get underway. And here, direct from New York, is one Pat Machado.
Underway here in the second half. Strong punch forward. Oklahoma with some immediate pressure off the opening throw. Far side pocket. The Fort Lauderdale Squids pick it up, get some space. Kick was touched. Straight to Oklahoma. Shakes off a defender. Goes for goal. And it is just across the face for a behind. Quick start, quick build-up from Oklahoma. Minor score, though. They're out to 2-5-17. The Fort Lauderdale Fighting Squids, 2 behind.
The ball will come back in the play up on the far side now, and Oklahoma continuing the pressure that they've had over the last 20 minutes of play. And we're just kind of keeping an eye on the wind and just some of the conditions. The flags are starting to come out a little bit more in front of the watch, behind the Watch AFL scoreboard, so a little bit of a wind expected. I think it's going to be about the same, as here's an opportunity. He's going to line this one up, and that one was really good. We were right over his shoulder for that one. Give that to the number 5, who is unnamed here on the score sheet, but he gives his team a 3rd goal. On the Watch AFL scoreboard, Oklahoma go to 3-5-23, out to 21 points. 2 points for Fort Lauderdale, and a little bit of a letdown for the Squids, but a good job to find an open target who went round and just curly-cued that ball through the oi diddle diddle, as Brian Taylor would say.
Both on 7 and on Triple M.
Yes.
That one's good enough.
Yes, absolutely. Between him and Jimmy Brayshaw. Sausage! As we come back in the middle of the ground.
But yeah, Oklahoma firing on all cylinders here in the second half. Punched out wide. Oklahoma once again will win this ruck contest in the center. Kicked out to the far boundary. Christopher Kaywood with a little kick back inboard. Number 31 for Fort Lauderdale is there. Jack Stimson. Little lob kick. Stimson. Handball inside. Immediately wrapped up in a tackle, but without the ball. What's the call? Free kick, Oklahoma. And it'll be Chase Knoll, about 30 meters directly in front. And he missed the kick. Fort Lauderdale trying to turn it back into offense. Got away with one there, as that easily should have been goal number 4.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. Looks like we're going to have a free kick. And Pat, if Oklahoma wins, just like Chase, they will have gotten through this group stage with his name, Noel, as the ball is up on the far side. And remember, Noel spelled backwards is Leon, as Home Improvement taught us about 20 years ago. Free kick in the back left pocket for the Oklahoma Buffaloes. This one is sent through. Sent up high, ball goes down to ground, and it is marked, in fact, on that outer wing. I believe that's Caleb West there. And a little bit of a handball in transit. Kicks this one inside 50. Going long, going deep. Skitters away like a cockroach on the bathroom floor. Little handball directly in front. Has the opportunity. Ball was touched and then cleared out now by the Squids. Up in the air now, but a good mark coming back. Good defensive mark taken. And it's picked off by Jack Stimson. Stimson, no relation, I believe, to the guy who plays for Columbus. This one is kicked inside the 50-meter arc, going back. Good defensive mark going back and taking that one over the top by Christopher Brennan. And he'll try to shake the Etch-a-Sketch and draw up something new for the Squids, who are trailed by 21 points.
The kick went out wide. Took a bounce just before it went out, so it'll be a throw-in. No insufficient intent interpretation here in the USAFL, so that will just result in a throw-in, but it's deep inside the forward 50 for Oklahoma once again. Ball flung back into play. Stimson with the tap down. Wrapped up immediately, gets the handball out to Christopher Kaywood, takes the shot, will go across the face of goal and tapped through, and it actually crumbed out to Noel, and it's through for a goal.
Fourth of the day for the morning for the Oklahoma Buffaloes, and they are punching their ticket, it looks like, to the D4 Grand Final. They go to 4-5-29, 2 behinds for Fort Lauderdale. And again, if they can hang on to this victory, they'll go to 3-0 with the Portland Steelheads and Des Moines Roosters playing on the other field. The Steelheads would have had a chance with a victory and a loss by Oklahoma, but looks like the Buffaloes are taking care of things. Meanwhile, on the field behind us, the Denver Bulldogs / Golden Gate reserves at 2-0, and they are playing, I don't know who they're playing. We're just taking a look behind us. I think they're playing North Texas. No, they're playing Orange County, and if the Bulldogs reserves win, it will be Bulldogs Golden Gate reserves win. There's your grand final, as this one is sent in, and the ball is marked up high. Taken again by West. Little chip in. Finds a wide open Stimson. The Buffaloes here are content to just find open players. And what's happening, it looks like, is that the Squids are in sort of like a bit of a, they're being sucked in towards the middle of the ground. Now finally they have to spring to action. Handballs it back. Centering ball there by Stephen Raspold. Jumps out in front. Going after and trying to pick that one up. Through the wickets. Again throwing in there again is West, I believe. Going to get spun free. Cleared out once again by the Squids up on the far side. Big bouncing ball. Going to get picked up once again. Dropping the pill there was Sheldon Houston. As that one goes back into the middle of the ground for it. Picked up by the Squids. Bit of a willy-nilly handball. Here is Daniel Seif, one of the Austin players, one of the Austin thirds, if you will, and the ball tumbles out of bounds about 50 meters around. We've played unofficially a little more than 7 minutes on the Watch AFL scoreboard. 4-5-29 Oklahoma, 2 behinds Fort Lauderdale. Brian Barish alongside Pat Machado, whose voice you're going to hear now.
And it's all Oklahoma here in the second half as they threaten again. 2 goals, 1 scored by the Buffaloes in this frame of play. And the Fighting Squids put it out in the full, and Oklahoma will get another free kick. This one tight up against the boundary around about 50 meters. They'll probably look to set something up here as it's a centering ball. Top of the square, tapped on by Fort Lauderdale, picked up by the number 5, who just sprays one on goal as quick as he can, and it's through for a minor score. Out to 30 points now, the Buffaloes go.
And
it's 4-6-30, Fort Lauderdale Fighting Squids, the 2 behinds on the Watch AFL scoreboard.
Sorry about that, Pat. As Dan Sarbacker would say, we apologize to number 5's family for not knowing who he is because he's not on the actual score sheet here. We have just about every other player. We're also missing 24, but that's what happens when you change the numbers and you don't change it on the score sheet. You end up, it's not our fault, as we have a kick in now, as a ball in. Just waiting for the ball to be retrieved from somewhere out in the savannah on the Onion Creek end to the right of screen. What's going to be yet another beautiful, if not hot day, deep in the heart of Texas. This one is kicked up on the far side. Mark is taken, and back the other way will come. Oklahoma really keeping things pinned into their offensive half. This one is sent into the top of the goal square. Going to get knocked down. Pitchfork handball up over the top. Gets deflected and cleared out by Brennan for Fort Lauderdale. High in this one again. Takes a high bounce. Picked up on one hop. Spinning around on a sixpence again is Seif. Seif tries to go forward inside the 50-meter arc. Nice mark. He got higher than Joe Cocker to take that one. And getting up slowly is the number 12 in Chris Kaywood. And I'll tell you what, he probably should get about 2 style points for that. See if he can convert that into points on the scoreboard. Kaywood set the stride forward from about 30 meters out, maybe 40. We'll get out the protractor next time as it looks like they're just trying to position him on the center of the mark. Kaywood's kick is up on the way. It's tailing right. Did it sneak in? Yes, it did. The umpire is a 6-shooting son of a gun. And that may very well be the cherry on top of the delicious sundae that is this game. 5-6-36, Oklahoma. 2 behinds, Fort Lauderdale, 34 points. And Oklahoma looks like they're going to be playing for a championship this afternoon here, Pat.
Yeah, they're sprinting to the finish here about halfway through the second half of play. 34-point lead. Only scoring done by Oklahoma in this half. Dominant performance by the Buffaloes.
And they're the sort of team, Pat, they're a very hard-nosed team. They do have, their players themselves, they are strictly American. They brought an all-American side. The only non-Americans they have are the ones that they're borrowing from Austin, and yet they're not relying on them at all, it seems.
Here's Fort Lauderdale on their attacking end of the field now. Ball's wrapped up in a pack of players. Oklahoma springs free with it. Finds Brett Harrington now on the far side. Met there by Christopher Brennan of the Fort Lauderdale Fighting Squids. Ground ball forward. Kicked along the ground, excuse me.
He thought he was calling baseball for a second.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good time to be a New Yorker with baseball, I'll tell you that.
Don't rub it in.
Kind of already did last night. Free kick will go the way of Fort Lauderdale.
We're going to try and forget that the Philadelphia Phillies season even happened. And meanwhile, you were talking about those ground balls. The dew is starting to burn off a little bit. The greased watermelon effect isn't as apparent, but the ball is still fairly wet. This goes inside the 50-meter arc, but just as quickly as it comes in, it goes back out for the Buffaloes, and this will hop up. A good push put in there, a good shepherd put in there once again. Sent back inside the 50-meter arc as Fort Lauderdale trying to at least make the score a little bit more respectable insofar as this will be their final game of the season in all accounts, unless they can get on their horse and maybe kick 5 goals in, I would say, about 7+ minutes of play. And again, that's an unofficial time check. So the ball comes spinning back in the play by umpire Ellen DeVries. Ball goes to ground. Going to try and pick that one up. The Squids have an opportunity. Little bit of a weird kind of skiddy ball. Goes off of one step, but right into his chest, into the man there in Jack McCall. He has the word Sharon tattooed on his midriff, although I don't think that was intentional, as the ball gets picked up. Here, back the other way they come. Has a bounce, has a look, has a kick into the middle of the ground. Comes through, off the hands, going after to get it. Finally gets that one on the second bite of the cherry and got taken down. Ball goes out of bounds in front of the late arriving Christopher Kaywood. And we'll have a boundary throw-in with roughly, unofficially, about 14 minutes gone here in the final term. The Buffaloes lead by 34 points on the Watch AFL scoreboard.
Cruising on their way to a grand final later today. Spun back into play. Punched forward by Jack Stimson. Christopher Kaywood runs onto it. Little fumble. Both players go down. Kaywood picks the ball back up. Sidewinding kick. Diving out for the mark. Unable to take it. It'll find the line. and they'll throw it back in. Great effort there in front of goal, though. Nearly had a shot on goal from point-blank range.
And very, very nearly as they are getting their opportunities, and they are trying to make the most of them here as this one comes down. Ball goes off the hands of Caleb West, number 11. Golf is going to get picked up. Goes across, but we have a whistle, and it will be a free kick, and the Squids will have an opportunity here. On the three cuts, Gin around the grounds, over on the field behind us, it does look very apparent, Pat Machado, that it will be an Oklahoma-Denver grand final. The Bulldogs/Roos combination leading Orange County 58-12. That game is in the second half, so it looks apparent that it will be Denver again. The Bulldogs won were runners-up in Division 3, actually won Division 3 a couple of years ago, and defeating Arizona in the grand final as this one is kicked up high, going across the face. It bounces free. Going to go after it. Of course, we mentioned Golden Gate is in there as well, Golden Gate and Denver. In fact, they're wearing the Golden Gate, those beautiful Golden Gate clash jumpers with the Pride rainbow on it, as that one is sent over toward the pocket. Going to get bounced around, turning around and getting away from two defenders, lining this one up, sending it on the way, and it's good for a goal. Daniel Seif, again one of the Austin CT members who has been added to this side, 6'6", 42. And the lead is an even 40 points with not much time to go. And the end is nigh for Fort Lauderdale for this weekend. And as we said, it's only 9 a.m., but it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
5 o'clock still in my brain, probably.
Yeah, right. PM, not AM, maybe. Who knows at this point?
What is PM and AM anymore?
Time is an abstract concept, especially if you have a kid.
Oklahoma threatening once again. And Kaywood will win that free kick for holding the ball. Tried to fight his way out of it, but the umpire will award the free. Kaywood goes the short option. Well taken defensive mark by Fort Lauderdale. Kick right up the gut. Intercepted by Caleb West. And he'll go back and wait for his team to set up. So West will drive this one towards the goal. Takes a bounce. Bouncing every which way. And it's through for a goal.
That thing had eyes, Pat. It really did. That thing bounced about 5 times, and every time it hit the ground, it went in a different direction. It went left, it went right, and then it went through. That is, as our friend Bill Robert on the field behind us would say, the tyranny of the oblong ball. And on the Watch AFL scoreboard, 7-6, 48 to 2 behinds are out to a 46-point lead with perhaps a couple of minutes to go here in the ball game. As, of course, this is the first of many games, and first of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. First of 9 games we'll have on this particular field. We'll, of course, have 9 games on the field behind us as well, or 7 games on the field behind us streamed out to you as the ball is up on the far side. And for the benefit of the folks here at the ground and also watching online, we'll go through the matches happening at 9 o'clock in just a moment as this one is kicked on. Goes out into the pocket and just kept in play by Oklahoma up against the boundary line. Handballs it, but it's a turnover to Brennan. Brennan for Fort Lauderdale sends this one back the other way, and it's marked. Here come the Squids out in the middle of the ground once again, and it's again taken. So Fort Lauderdale looking good in this little passage of play, trying to string a few of these kicks together until it all slowly falls apart like a flan in a cupboard. And back the other way now. A little bit of a handball. Handball in short. And that's going to be an improper disposal. It will be a free kick to Oklahoma, about 60 meters out as they see this one out.
Time running out in this game. Ball in dispute, far side forward pocket. Finds the line, and they'll throw it back in. Just a few seconds in this one. Sirens should be coming any moment, as the Oklahoma Football Club Buffaloes have played their way into a Division IV Grand Final. Flung back into play, picked up by Stimson. Handball's out wide. Goes out even wider. Number 5 drives one towards goal. Nobody home. That'll roll all the way to the line. And the players know it. You can just, and I believe that's our siren, right?
Well, we'll find out in a second. The players
That's our
are shaking
siren.
hands. That is, in fact, our siren. You know, we have 5 fields. I mean, this is your first game, and you know this as well. And the final score, the Watch AFL scoreboard, the Oklahoma Buffaloes, 7 goals, 6 behinds, 48 points. The Fort Lauderdale Fighting Squids, 2 behinds. The Oklahoma Buffaloes with a 3-0 record. They are headed to the Division IV Grand Final. It looks like the game is still happening, but based on the score that we know of, it looks like the Denver Bulldogs and Golden Gate Roos combination will be their opponent. Not much to say about this one, Pat. Fort Lauderdale, you know, they hung with them. It was always going to be a difficult task for them. They play, you know, a handful of games throughout the season, but credit to them for showing up. They finished with a 1-2 record, but hey, Oklahoma looks pretty good. You know, they're going to have a tough opponent, I think, in this Denver Golden Gate side, though.
Yeah, Oklahoma and Fort Lauderdale very much in lockstep in the opening stages of the first half. Fort Lauderdale unable to take their opportunities when they were able to get them. Oklahoma missing in front of goal, but not in that second half. 5 goals to the Buffaloes went in that second half of play. And the 46-point margin, dominant performance from the Buffaloes. We'll see how they do later.
Well, a quick whip around of the matches happening at 9 o'clock thanks to Cyber Source IQ right here on Cooper's Field. It's a Division II matchup and a very important one between the Seattle Grizzlies and the Baltimore Dockers. Over on Field 2 with Bill Robert and Dan Sarbacker, it'll be the Boston Demons and the San Diego Lions. That's also a D2 matchup. In men's D2, the North Texas Devils will play the Calgary Kangaroos. That's on Field 3. And on Field 4, it'll be the Chicago Swans and the Minnesota Freeze. And over on Field 5, it'll be the first semifinal of Division 5 as the North Carolina Tigers take on the Rome Redbacks. Pat Machado, thanks for joining us. I know you'll be back a little bit later on. We'll be stepping aside and come right back as we have the Seattle Grizzlies taking on the Baltimore Dockers. Heath Moore will join me in the commentary. You're watching the 2024 USAFL National Championships from Austin, Texas, brought to you by Tasmanian, thanks to Gridiron Productions here on USAFL.com.
The USAFL 2024 Nationals is brought to you by Tasmanian, the quiet pursuit of the extraordinary. Cooper's, Australian made and owned. Cooper's Beer. Visit Austin, live music capital of the world. Two Hands Hospitality, fueling your lifestyle. Watch AFL, stream every match. Devil's Corner, Tasmania. HBC Event Services. Play Aussie. Premier Sports Medicine. And by the Movember Foundation.